Welcome to another edition of Wings Weekly. Jay Kleinknecht here, along with, of course, head coach Scott Langer. Coach, the Wings swept the weekend there in Austin, as you well obviously know, winning 6-3, 4-3 in a shootout on Saturday. 14 straight wins, allowing the fewest goals in the league, scored the second most, best penalty kill, most shorthanded goals with 11, and the power play had jumped 8 spots, currently at 12th overall in the league. Did those two games go the way you expected them to?
It's tough what to expect when you haven't seen a team all year.
Sure.
Usually you get to play teams early and kind of feel them out what they're about. But we didn't. Besides watching on tape, we didn't know enough about Austin. But I thought our guys were ready going in there. So I think the outcome was, especially Friday night, I thought our guys were really ready and didn't know what to expect on Saturday with suspensions and the amount of injuries and stuff that we had, going in and during that game. So, but you come out 3 points ahead of the team that's chasing you. It's a good weekend.
Yeah, without a doubt. Well, a lot of these questions that I've talked to you pregame and so on, but Friday night's game obviously went off track a little bit, especially towards the last half, I suppose it was, of the third period. And we talked briefly Saturday night about how well your team seems to adapt and adjust to adversity. Can you talk a little bit about why that is? And I know you mentioned, obviously, the guys like Nick Sicoli and so on, the leadership. Is that something that your coaching staff can prepare them for too?
Well, we try to. We talk about how valuable it is, for the right place and the right time, when you're going to police situations. And at this level, it's always easy to get frustrated and allow your emotions to get the best of you. And we just think as a team that, the right time and the right place will come, when we really need to act upon stuff. But, it's kind of a code in hockey. I've been doing this a long time, and when the game's out of reach, it's not the time to send any messages.
Mm-hmm.
You go down a goal, you go up a goal, maybe it's time to change the what the game looks like. But when the game's out of control and the high hits and all that stuff has taken place, it's, from my point of view, it's unnecessary. It's bad for the league. It's bad for hockey. But, from our side I thought we handled it well. Our guys are pretty good. It's at times you want to open the cage door and just let them go, and I know they'd love to, but we got bigger things going on. Mm-hmm. And the guys trying to get college scholarships and us trying to win a division or possibly a President's Cup and all the good stuff that comes with that. So the one thing I do know as a coach is that we can handle ourselves, and it's allowing us to be battle tested. We have teams that try to outskill us. That's great for us, to learn how to play against it. We have teams that want to try to bully us. I think that's great for us, because we're going to be prepared down the stretch when it comes playoff time. So each weekend presents something different, and I think it's just an opportunity for us to get better.
Yeah, well, it surely does. Guy, and I mentioned it on the broadcast on Saturday night, if anybody was, listening or watching, about how they were just relentless on Nick Sicoli. And the guy just didn't crack, didn't once respond, and the level of professionalism from that leadership, as you talked about before the game Saturday night, I think obviously a big part of that too. What about, it seemed like, and this is the only time we've seen this, but it seemed like they were, part of their goal was to take Joe Strada out of the game. And he just keeps bouncing back and it pops up after hits, and there were some big ones on him. How do you deal with that? Does it start to be a little bit where you're kind of concerned to put him out there?
I don't know. The one thing about Joe is that he can handle himself.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody looks at him as this little guy, but I got to tell you, he's one of the toughest guys in this division.
Oh yeah.
It doesn't take fighting to prove you're tough. It's maybe a little old school mentality. Let's go after the best players. Let's kill them. Let's hit them. Let's kill them. I think you get that sometimes. I think that's really passed us by in the game of hockey. I'll be honest with you. I'd rather match my skill against your skill, and then at the end of the day, let's see who comes out on top. But yeah, there's no question they were going after Nick. They were going after Joe, and Joe ends up with 3 assists on the weekend. Nick, I think, had 3 goals. They've proven that they can withstand that kind of hockey, And it's funny because you'd think that the little guys would get a little more gratitude from the officiating. I think it's completely opposite.
Yeah.
I think they're afraid to call penalties on guys that are going after the little guys just because it's going to look like they're being sympathetic. So I love those two guys, and I think they embrace that, and they know it's coming. I mean, this wasn't the first team this weekend that tried that mentality, of trying to knock some guys' heads off.
Yeah, and I think you're right about that. It's interesting, and I was saying, again, I think during the broadcast on Saturday, I said something to the effect of, just because he's small doesn't mean you can hit him in the head. Just because he's shorter doesn't mean that it's illegal somehow to go head hunting. But I think you're actually right on that, absolutely. I was really impressed with Saturday night, particularly the way those guys just gutted it out. It got me thinking about Hart, because they were gassed, and they have to go to overtime, and they go in, a guy down anyway, and you're just the level of determination and heart that I saw those guys, and then to go to the shootout and win it, I was so dang impressed with the gutty effort. And it got me thinking again about, like, you can teach a lot of things, you can coach a lot of things, but you can't really coach heart. But can you scout it? Is that something that when these players come to this team, that you have a pretty good idea that they have that level of determination and that heart, or maybe some of them surprise you sometimes?
I think a little of both. I think you try to do as much due diligence as you can, finding out what kind of player they have, and if they do play with heart or they play for themselves. But I think from day one in training camp, we really preach some of that stuff, and not directly the word heart. It's all the stuff that makes up the heart, and some guys just truly jump on board with it. And those are the guys you see stick around during the whole process. And there's some guys that just at the end can't cut it because they're not that type of guy. This team tends to have a lot of it. There's a lot of years you'll have certain guys on a team that carry the ones that are kind of light in that area. But we have a lot of it here this year. They really play for one another, and that's huge. I mean, it's the motivation is to play for the guy next to them. They're doing that, and along the way, we're picking up some wins.
Absolutely. Well, and there's a lot of different instances that I could point out, but I remember one particularly where Adam Pitters was skating back after they had an odd man rush in overtime coming through the neutral zone, and he not only caught them, but ends up breaking up a pass. And I just thinking to myself, he was 15, 20 feet behind that rush, and he just, with 100% effort, caught up to it. That's got to make you feel proud as a coach to see stuff like that.
Absolutely. Those type of efforts they make a coach proud every time you see them, and you always hope that the way you prepare during the weeks will add up on the weekend, and little things like that surface make it worthwhile.
For sure. Well, Coach, I had a few people kind of asking questions and things about some of the technical stuff about what's upcoming. I mean, and they, like, for example, I thought maybe you could describe like what an affiliate player is and how that all works.
Yeah, the affiliate player program allows you to play a non-rostered player in up to 10 games. I believe 6 before March and then 4 after March.
Okay.
And what happens is it allows you to go out and pick from 10 guys that you have on an affiliate list, and you can bring them in and play them up to 10 games without making any adjustments to your active 23-man roster.
Okay. How about any deadlines or dates that are coming up, roster lock, trade deadline, stuff like that? I know there's been some fans that have been asking when those events are coming up.
Yeah, February 6th is the Tier 2 date of any trades. February 10th, your rosters are completely locked, so whatever you have on the 10th will be the remaining lineup for the rest of the season.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, coming up, Coach, you've got Bismarck. They split with Brookings over the weekend. Similar to Austin in some ways, yet different. Maybe not quite as big as Austin. What do you expect to see from the Bobcats this weekend?
Same type of play. They played us tough the last 2 games, and again, they're at home. I think they're a good team at home. We're going to have to be ready to play again. We obviously got the last 2. They got the first 2 there. We got the last 2, and they're going to have that in their memory bank. So they'll be well prepared. I mean, it's just teams fighting at each other in the standings in the Central Division. It's just another weekend, and the team that makes less mistakes is probably going to be the winner.
Yeah. All right, well, the Wings sitting, of course, at the top of the division in the Central with 56 points. Austin still in second with 46 points. And the Wilderness, again, they jumped past last week over Bismarck and Minot. So they're in third with 41 points, and then Bismarck with 39, Minot with 39, and Brookings, after picking up a couple wins now, with 13 points. So that's a look at the standings in the Central Division. Coach, the final question I had for you was about health. There were a lot of guys with ice packs and stuff like that after Saturday night's matchup. Giving the guys some time to rest and recuperate a little bit. Is everybody, for the most part, healthy? Of course, we know Bendorf is recovering, but anything that comes away from those games this weekend that maybe he'll be down a player? Or?
No, I don't foresee that. I mean, I think anytime two good teams go at it, and you play hard and you play the right way, you're going to have the bumps and the bruises, and the guys played hard when they're on the bus with ice packs. Whether it's the concern is when they're not having ice and they weren't involved heavily. So it's a good sign. I mean, it's no different than playoff hockey where 20 guys play and 20 guys need ice after the game. We play that way. Other teams play that way in our division, and I fully expect to have our lineup ready to go on Friday.
Excellent. Glad to hear it. All right, Coach. Well, I won't keep any longer, but I do appreciate you taking some time to talk to us on Wings Weekly here. Best of luck coming up this weekend against Bismarck.
Thanks, Jay.
All right, folks. We'll be back with the second portion of Wings Weekly coming up after this.
Let's make a taco. No, seriously. Start with a tortilla, soft tortilla. Warm it, kiss it. Don't kiss it. Chicken? How about tequila lime chicken? Now we're cooking. Slice this, peel that, snip those. Salsa? Verde. Cheese? Cotija. Oh, forgot to mention guac. That's better. See, anyone can make a taco, but we're not anyone. We're Qdoba, and these are knockout tacos. Qdoba Mexican Eats. Choose flavor.
Welcome back as Wings Weekly continues. I'm Jay Klein, Connect Course, and Thomas Rocco of Midlothian, Virginia, and John Sladek of Novi, Michigan. Joining me now, boys. I appreciate you taking some time to come on the show. How you feel?
A little beat up.
Yeah.
But we had a good weekend, so feeling good.
Yeah. How about you, Thomas?
Same thing, chin. And
Puck to the face.
Yeah, a couple block shots, so a little beat up, but a couple days of rest, feel better.
Well, that's certainly glad to hear that you guys are all right. Because again, I was just talking with Coach about a lot of ice packs and a lot of very physical games over there. Big weekends for you guys, of course. Continuing to score goals for Thomas here, and a big game winner for Sladek here. And walk us through that. Walk us through the shootout, John.
Well, obviously Joe went first and he scored, so that helped.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, kind of just went in. I had a move in mind, but I mean, he gave me all the glove side, so I just shot it, and the boys were pretty pumped.
Yeah,
to say the least. Yeah.
Well, so that kind of leads into the next question I was going to ask you both. When you're in a shootout situation, whether it be in practice or whatever, and you have a plan in mind as you're skating up what you're going to do, and you see something from the goaltender that gives you maybe a little different idea, and you adjust on the fly, or do you stick with your intended plan? And you kind of already answered that, John, that you had a move in mind, but it wasn't there, and another opportunity opened itself up. Is that generally how it goes?
Yeah, I mean, it all depends on really what the goalie gives you. Obviously, your move that you have, I mean, it may work or it may not, but whatever the goalie gives you, then you kind of just read off him, and
yeah. How about you, Thomas? You got a go-to move for a shootout?
Not really. I mean, I've been lemon 3 weeks, so I mean, I'm not the best shootout guy, I could say. So I mean, I don't know.
Right on. Okay, well, and I wanted to ask you just kind of a silly question, but after that puck to the face, you come out Saturday night, tough guy, play through it. You got a bubble on. Does it take a little bit of adjusting when you've been used to the visor to go back to the bubble?
It wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. It's a little harder to breathe, but there was also some spots on the bubble which kind of made it hard to see. But otherwise, it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. So,
yeah,
pretty easy.
Right on. Well, Thomas, you're obviously new to the Wings, but here we are. It's January. You've been here a while, and John, you're a vet. Hey, do you think? And I asked Joe and a couple of guys last week or the week before this question too. But Do you think anything has matured or changed about you and your game as the seasons have gone along for John and as this season has gone along for you?
For sure. I think for me, I think I've matured more on the ice with practice habits and off-ice habits as well, like in the weight room and just kind of working after practice. So, yeah.
Right.
For me, it's I think defensively I've matured a lot. Just back checking, getting back on there. It's really important to the game, and I think overall my game has matured a lot. So.
Yeah, I think that's interesting because that's something that Joe said too. He said that was probably the biggest thing that he's improved upon is defensively, and it is. It's obviously a big part of the game. What's your favorite thing to do away from hockey when you're away from the OD? Maybe you're at home, maybe you're at a billet house, whatever. What's your favorite thing to do?
Like here, just chill with some of the boys. Play some ping pong at Peter's house, or maybe just go to a movie with some of the boys as well.
Right on. John?
Yeah, movie Tuesdays are a pretty big thing. $5 ticket, but they end up getting you with the popcorn and the and the slushy, so it ends up being about $15. But
It's been that way since the dawn of movies. That the popcorn gets you. Yeah. What about? I actually had a fan that asked me this once about what you guys generally miss the most about home or whatever. If there's one thing that you could change or add to Aberdeen, what would it be?
I'd maybe like a bigger mall. I honestly don't really know.
Yeah. Well, and the mall actually, years ago, it was pretty a thriving place, but
Yeah.
now malls are kind of going away, it seems. Thomas, you got anything like a restaurant or anything that you'd be like, man, I wish they had that?
Yeah, I'd probably add like a Panera or maybe like a Chick-fil-A or something.
Right on.
Just enhance the food here.
I know I've heard some people talk about wanting sushi, and I think there's some pretty decent sushi available now.
Yeah,
but that,
Kessler's, there's pretty good sushi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, let's see. What's your ideal vacation? If you could go anywhere, do anything for, whether it be skiing or to a beach somewhere, where would you go?
Probably just to a beach, just chill out. I went to Jamaica this summer, so just that again, I guess.
Yeah.
It was pretty calming and just relaxing.
Right on. Jamaica.
Definitely on the beach, somewhere in the Caribbean or somewhere down there.
No place in particular that you've been dreaming about going?
Anywhere warm, right now especially.
Right on. Well, that's true. Okay, I tell you what, you guys, I won't keep you here, real long here, but I wanted to talk with you. Obviously, what we kind of discussed Austin and those games, big wins, 14 straight, and Thomas, you're on a streak, and I don't know if you know this yet, but you have been named the Central Division Star of the Week. So congratulations. That's
Not a big deal.
That's pretty awesome, and I can't. The Wings have had so many of them this year, and obviously a testament to the way you guys have been playing and so on. So again, congratulations. And I wanted to ask, and I don't want to beat a dead horse because this question has come up a lot probably, but what's it like playing a team that is as physical as Austin and does as much chirping? How do you stay focused on the game and the game plan and not let them get to you?
Well, Langer before the game, he mentioned that that's kind of their game, the way they play. But I think it was really important for us to kind of just let it go in one ear and out the other and focus on what we have to do, because we know if we play the right way that it's going to work out for us. Right.
Thomas, you seem like you're able to stay pretty on track and don't get distracted from a lot of that stuff. Is it difficult?
Not for me. I'm used to getting chirped my whole life. I used to be really small, so I get chirped for that. But you just can't let it get to you. You can't let it alter your game. Just gotta, like John said, one ear and out the other.
Yeah, tough. So like I said, I was mentioned with Coach earlier that I was watching just the relentless, constant, chirping going on, especially for some guys like Sicoli and stuff. I just thought, man, how does he stand that? But Bismarck coming up. What do you guys got to do to keep things rolling?
We just got to keep playing our game. Like last weekend, can't let them get to us early. Stick to the game plan, and should come out with 2 wins.
Right on. John, anything that you're going to be looking from Bismarck?
Well, I think it starts this week in practice. Just keep at what we're doing. And yeah, we've played Bismarck a few times already. We know what they're about, and yeah, we just got to play our game.
Absolutely. Well, hey, best of luck on the doubleheader up in Bismarck coming up. Of course, that is the 18th and 19th of January, 7:15 puck drop both nights. You can watch the game at Buffalo Wings and Rings in Aberdeen or on hockeytv.com. You can listen on 94.1 The Rock, hubcityradio.com, or the Rock app. By the way, in case you missed it when we talked about it on Saturday night, Joe Strada is 1 point away from becoming the all-time Wings points leader, held right now by Corey Ward and Kyle Hake with 120, and 1 assist away from becoming the all-time assist leader, Kyle Hake with 82. Again, the all-time assist leader in franchise history. He tied it on Friday night and 1 away from breaking those records. Wings Fan Bus going to Brookings February 9th and 16th both. $28 per person per game, includes transportation and tickets from the game or for the game as well. It's BYOB, bathroom is on board, 5 TV screens, bus loads at the Odie at 3 and departs at 3:30. Call Aaron for details or to reserve your spot at 605-380-5852. And for all the latest news and information, visit AberdeenWings.com or follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, and on Instagram. Once again, Thomas Rocco, John Sladek, thank you for joining me on Wings Weekly, and best of luck against Bismarck this weekend.
Thank you.
All right, folks, that will wrap up this week's Wings Weekly.